Happy National Home Buyers Month. Hopefully, you are all having a great day today. I am here with a special guest. We're having morning coffee, and I am going to allow my guest to introduce himself. So, this way, you all get to know him, and we'll talk a little bit about what he does after he introduces himself.
Awesome, awesome. Marva, thank you for having me. My name is Varney Jallah with Structured Credit Solutions. We help individuals just like you that's trying to purchase a home to qualify for a mortgage. We help them with their personal credit, business credit, and also business funding as well.
Excellent. So, thank you. So, we know that having credit and your credit score is very major when it comes to purchasing a home. So I know that I think most banks are looking for like a 620 minimum score. Now, one of the things that I always do is I always advise my clients before we start looking at a home to pull their credit report, go with a mortgage person, get that done so we can see what blips they may have on their credit. So this is for those of you who have a credit score of, I would say, less than 640, because we want to help you get the best credit score ever, because good credit scores also give you better interest rates. So get you from a 640 to over 700, that would be fantastic for you. So, Barney, why don't you kind of tell us some of the things that someone could easily do to boost their credit?
Great question, Marva. One of the first things I recommend, pull up your credit report. Pull up your credit report. You can go to MyFICO and pull up your mortgage scores from there. You can go to my credit report, annual credit report, pull up your credit report. That would be the first step. Look at it. Some people are just simply just afraid to look at it. Oh, I have bad credit. I don't want to take a look at it. But you're actually doing yourself some disservice by not pulling your credit report. You might have an old derogatory account that's outside of the statute of limitation that can easily come off your credit report, but is on there. But since you're not taking a look at it, you're not taking advantage of those things. Once you pull up your credit report, one of the things I recommend, start to focus on the things that's going to help your scores increase very quick, which will be revolving credit, right? Revolving credit is credit cards. So if you have any credit cards, I recommend get those utilization balances under 10%. If you don't have any credit cards at all, I recommend go to your bank, get you a small secure card to start, right? Once you get that $200 secure card, just make sure you're using it the correct way. You want to make sure you stay under the 10% usage. So if you have a $200 secure card, just put a small subscription on there, anything like your Netflix, Hulu, something real small, and set up monthly payments to pay it, to pretty much automatically pay it in full every month. And over time, you'll start to see your scores go up. So my recommendation, number one, pull up your credit report, look at your credit report, check for any derogatory marks on there. Number two, focus on the revolving credit side of it. Okay, revolving credit is about 65% of your scores. So if you already have some credit cards, be aggressive with paying down those balances to get the utilization down. If you don't have any credit cards, start off with a small secure card, and then that way just start to monitor your report and your scores on a monthly basis.
Excellent. So now, Varney touched on something that said if you don't have credit cards, right? In this arena, if you're going to purchase a home, you need at least two credit cards. And they like to see you with at least 2 years of history. So if you don't have any credit cards and you're thinking about buying a home, you definitely want to take Varney's advice and get a secured credit card if you just didn't want to build up debt. But you definitely are going to need to have some credit cards that are reporting to the credit bureau so that the bank can see that transaction history. So, Varney, there are some credit myths out there. So why don't you share a couple with us? Because I know you know better than me. What is a credit myth, a big one that you hear people say all the time that is just not true?
Great question, Marva. And this is actually one of my favorite ones, right? There's a lot of credit myths out there. We'll probably be here all day if we go through all of them. But my favorite one is, most people will say, hey, just pay your credit card balance down to 30%. That's all you have to do. But you're actually leaving a lot of points on the table. You want to make sure you pay your credit card balances in full every month or get it down to under 10%. Okay. So if we're doing it on a grayscale level, if you're just paying your credit card balances down to 30% every month, that's more on a grayscale level is like a C, okay? But if you can get it under that 10% usage, right? Utilization, get it under that 10%. Utilization is more like a A plus. Okay, so if you're paying it down at 30%, you're leaving a lot of points on the table. And I see this all the time where clients will always pay their credit card balance down at 30%. Then once they pay it under that 10%, their scores can jump anywhere between 60 to 90 points or even more. So that's one of the myths out there. Hey, just pay your credit card balance down to 30%. Okay, that's my favorite one. The next credit myth that's out there is, oh, I don't want to get any credit cards because I don't want, I'm afraid of the interest. They have high interest. Yes, they do, right? But if you're paying your credit card balance in full every month, you don't have to worry about paying the interest on your credit card, right? If you guys don't learn anything from this presentation, remember these two things. Your due date is what the banks use to calculate how much interest you're going to pay, and your statement reporting date is what the credit bureaus will use to calculate your credit score. So you want to make sure on a monthly basis by your statement reporting date, make sure your balance is under that 10% or paid in full. And by your due date, you want to make sure your credit card balance is paid in full. Once you start to carry it over from month to month, that's when they will start to charge you the high interest. So that's another credit myth. Most people are like, hey, I don't want to deal with credit cards because I'm going to pay, you're not going to pay the high interest. But if you can pay it off every month, you won't have to worry about paying interest. And another way too is to simply look at credit card as a tool, right? If you use it properly, you can get you a nice, healthy credit score and get that home that you're looking for. But if you misuse it, right, it can actually hurt your credit score.
Great. Thank you for that information. So I'm going to say what I heard as a layperson, because, you know, I'm not into the whole credit thing. And Varney used a lot of words that they use for credit. So what I heard was, if I have a card and it's $100 card, that I should make sure that the balance is no more than $10 each month. I should make sure that I should pay it down below $10 if I can't pay it off altogether. So that's for every $100, you heard that. So if it's a $500 card, then you're going to make sure it's under $50. So just keep going by the 10. So that's one thing I heard. Second thing I heard, if you don't want to get, you know, a credit card because you don't want to have the high interest rate, credit cards are a necessity, period, that's how your credit score gets kind of one of the things that play into giving you a credit score. And credit scores are high. So I'm going to give my own example. This is not what Varney said, but not sure if you all know, but if you can buy the same car, Varney and myself, we're buying the same exact car. His credit score is an 800, mine's a 650. Our payments are going to be different because of his higher credit score. He's going to get a lower interest payment than me. So just imagine that. That's what I want you to imagine. So just imagine we are both driving the same car. I'm paying $350. He's paying $280, all because of our credit score. So you see why it's so important that you make sure you have a great credit score. It's not only about buying a house, but even buying a house, it's the same thing. You get a better interest rate. So hopefully that captured some of what you said. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah,
So
that was actually a great example, Marva. Great example, and I like how you tied it in. You know, it also goes back to when you're in the process of purchasing a home, right? A 7% interest rate versus an 8% interest rate can make a huge difference with your monthly payments and actually over the lifetime of a loan. So that was a great example.
excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing. So the thing that I wanted everybody to know is that this credit seems to be scary, but you have a person like Varney who can sit down with you, go through your credit report with you, and give you some tips and hints on things that you can do better. Now, if you have a lot of detail and a lot of things that you need to work on, and honestly, I'm going to share this with you guys to be transparent. I am one of Varney's clients. So I'm actually someone that, you know, my credit score was okay, but I had a lot of things that I needed to work on to boost it up to what I needed it to be so I can take advantage of everything that's available for a person with a higher credit score. So what I wanted to do is I needed to work with him on a consistent basis. And you may find that you need to do that. And we talk monthly. So what Varney is going to offer to do is he's going to give everyone, I'm going to look at my notes here, a free credit boost guide. And that's going to be in the comments of this video. However, we're going to be on multiple platforms. So if it's not on the platform that you're looking at this point, just DM me and I will send you the link. Now, there is something else that he's going to offer. He does do free consultations, but if you decide that you want to work with him, tell us what you're going to offer, Varney.
I'm actually gonna give them $100 off our enrollment fee. So once you guys book a consultation, you have to do a survey. You're gonna ask who referred you, just put Marva in there. Or even if you do forget during our consultation, just simply remember, just remind me, say, hey, you know, I saw your video with Marva, or Marva referred me, and I'll take $100 off your enrollment fee. That's all courtesy of Marva. So you guys thank Marva for that.
I'm thanking me.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any specific questions, you're thinking, you know, your credit may be a little shady in order to get a home, like you're thinking, maybe I don't have quite the credit score that I need. The one thing that I will always let you know, I know people and my kids do the same thing. They're looking at their credit score and they don't want to check because you're going to take a hit on the credit score and it's going to go down 2 or 3 points. If you're worried about your credit score going down 2 or 3 points, you definitely need to meet with Varney, because people with an 800 credit score, they don't worry about that. They don't worry about that.
Marva, that's actually another myth that's out there as well. People, oh, I don't want to check my credit score is going to drop. But again, that's not true, right? Once you're pulling your own credit report, you know, in your creditreport.com, going to MyFICO or using whatever platform that you're using, is not going to have a negative impact on your credit score. Once you submit an application to a bank for a mortgage, for an auto loan, for a personal loan, credit cards, that's what will have a negative impact on your credit score. That's when you start to see your scores come down. So you have to know the difference between a soft inquiry and a hard inquiry. Soft inquiry is you pulling your own credit report, right? Will not have a negative impact on your credit score. Hard inquiry is you submitting an application with your social security number, all your information over to the bank, and the bank pulling your credit report, that will have a negative impact. That's considered a hard inquiry.
A myth struck back in your presence.
Yeah.
I was basically putting myths out there.
There you go.
Sorry.
No, that was actually good.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, credit score is super important to purchasing a home. But what is more important is that you know what your credit score is and you do everything that you need to do to make sure that you get it up to over a 700. The goal, what's the highest credit score you can have, Barney?
850.
850. Okay, so you want to get it up to over 800, and the goal is to try to get it to 850. We'll make a contest out of it. Let's see who gets there first.
There you go. I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And everybody, we want you to have a happy National Homebuyers Month. I will see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. with another video or guest. We'll see. But Varney, any last minute advice you want to give to our viewers?
No, I think for the most part, we cover most of it. But if anybody have any questions, they can definitely follow me on Facebook, just my name, Varney Jallah, on Instagram, same name, or you can follow my business page, Structured Credit Solutions. I'm always on there sharing, you know, different credit tips. That's pretty much it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. You all have a great morning, and we give you a little morning toast.
Yeah.
Take care and have an awesome day. Happy National Homebuyers Month.
Thanks for having me, Marva.